One of the things about a regimental museum like ours is that so many of the items that we have, whether they're objects, photographs, documents, books, whatever, have a personal connection. And in the early period of our history, in the early 1800s, our regiment fought in what was called the Peninsular War, or Wars. This was fought in Portugal and Spain during the Napoleonic Wars. And one of our units was there from 1808, 1809 till 1814, when they crossed over into France. And we have a number of things on display relating to it. And several things relating to an officer called Moyle Sherer. He was commissioned into the regiment. He went to Portugal and Spain in 1809 and served there till 1813 when he was captured at a battle called the Maya Pass as they started to cross the Pyrenees. And he continued to serve after he was released from being a prisoner of war. He served until the middle of the 1820s. But he's the first of our officers or soldiers to have his reminiscences published. And we have a book among several in the collection. It's called Recollections of the Peninsula. The first book that he had published related to India. He wrote one about travels in Egypt, so he liked his travels around the world. And he wrote about his recollections of the Peninsular War, and this was published late in 1823. And this is a copy, one of two that we have in the collection. This one was the fourth edition, published in 1825. But he was obviously relatively modest, because you only actually have a look at the book. It says the Recollections of the Peninsula, but his name is not there on the frontispiece. Somebody's written it in by hand. It is really special because he served and talks about the reminiscences of being in battle in a very, very crucial period in military history. And as well as the book that we have his Military General Service Medal, which was the campaign medal awarded to the officers and soldiers who served at that time. And one of the things that came with the book and paperwork is the envelope that his Military General Service Medal came in. Campaign medals are quite common today. Soldiers get medals for all sorts of things. But the first common campaign medal was for the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. But for those officers and soldiers who served under the Duke of Wellington in the Peninsular War in Spain and Portugal, they had to wait a very long time for their medal. This is the envelope that was posted to Moyle Sherer in 1849, 35 years after the end of the Peninsular War. It contained his medal, and luckily he had lived long enough to receive it. So it was only sent out to those who were still living. And ironically, the medal, which has the Duke of Wellington on it, also has Queen Victoria's head on it. And of course, Queen Victoria wasn't even born when the actions were being fought. So it's a fairly rounded series of items in the collection. But what is crucial, he is the first person from the regiment to get his recollections published and out there to the public, starting a trend that was followed by a number of others through the 19th century. And then right up through the 20th century, we have a number of other authors, the most recent being George MacDonald Fraser, sadly no longer with us, but the author of the Flashman novels, who wrote about his experiences in Burma during the Second World War.